I missed it when I looked down.
I'm like, we're almost to the finish line, and up to the crash, so I had to relook.
All right, so it is 6:31, so we will go ahead and call our regular Board of Education meeting to order. If you'll please stay with us and say the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Good evening, thank you all for being here. We will begin our evening with the athletes of the month. Mr. Thomas Roll. Making a timely entrance.
Not yet. Just take a slow walk. Just finish the pixel. So, yeah. Good issue. Yeah, we'll have.
Good to see everyone. Jack Jenkerson is not here. I will celebrate him real quick, though. He was invited to the boys take program. Accepted. It's great. And Shane he's sick tonight, so we can't brag on him, but we got 4 great students we're gonna brag about from the high school tonight. First being Wilson. Hey, come on up and stand next to me. And this is from one of your teachers, Kate. There are so many reasons that Kate Wilson is the recipient for the Character VIP Award. She is a leader in the classroom. She models engagement through asking and answering questions, and is always supportive and encouraging to her peers. Kate works hard in class and perseveres through difficult concepts. Kate also demonstrates excellent character through her work with student council, where she works collaboratively with her peers and does not hesitate to step out and help the team. Congratulations. The next VIP award winner is Weston Milne. Weston Milne is most definitely deserving of our Valley Park VIP in academics. Weston continues to demonstrate higher level thinking and reasoning skills in the classroom. He works cooperatively with his peers and is always willing to participate in class discussions. He is courteous, respectful. He's a courteous, respectful young man who consistently demonstrates character in and out of the classroom. Congratulations, Weston, on this well-deserved honor. Our next award winner is Sasha Mabry, excuse me. One of Sasha's teachers says, I chose Sasha because she is so involved in numerous activities. Mu Alpha Theta, Stuco, Epsilon Beta, NHS, FBLA, Chess Club, Equality Club, OSA, and the Dungeons and Dragons Club. She participates and helps out in all these clubs as much as she can. She is a founding member of the Mu Alpha Theta Mathematics Club and took on the role of secretary. Sasha does an excellent job of keeping up with her schoolwork while being a member of all these clubs. Congratulations. One more, I see Sam here, but we will definitely honor Sam Gomez. One of his teachers says, Sam Gomez is one of the most conscientious, polite students I've ever had the pleasure to teach. Sam never hesitates to ask questions, take direction and feedback willingly and happily, and appreciates all of his education. Sam's respectful demeanor and pride in his work is evident in all he does and will take him far in every endeavor. Sam is a model Valley Park master. Congratulations, Sam. That's a little time tonight. We will go up to some yeah.
Not you. Go in, only you. Said, we have to brag on you first. Then you will take pictures.
We heard you're hustling across the parking lot.
All right. Mr. Thomas Rawls.
All right.
Our athletes of the month.
So our first, I'm gonna read it off my phone. Our first athlete of the month, she was unable to make it. It is a Naomi Ballman. She's our track athlete, and this is what Coach Wilson had to say. She preserves by showing up every day, working with the athletic trainer in order for her to be at her best and relies on feedback from coaches. Naomi shows great character by helping other teams and track meets and congratulating them after each race. She placed third in the 400-meter dash, at 1:06. Her goal is to beat a 1 minute in a personal record in the 100-meter dash. It's 13.88.
Wow.
Wilson with the KO. Second, Mr. Gavin Hubbard. So, Coach Menley actually found some good things to say here, so. Gavin is a great competitor who loves baseball. He's been one of our top pitchers the last 2 years and has continued right where he left off this season. Gavin has guided the Hawks to their first win of the season with an 11-5 victory over the Patriots. He's 1-1, now 2-1, we'll talk about that in a second, with a 2.10 down, 18 strikeouts, that's gonna go up. He has pitched very well for us and kept us in both games. He is also a force batting fifth in our lineup and playing first base. Gavin competes to his full potential every game. The players do the same. He's a wonderful asset to the Valley Park Hawks baseball team and more than deserving of this award. He also is through, if you guys are out there, a complete no hitter against Christian City.
Wow.
He's now 2-1, 16 strikeouts. How many outs total? 21. Gavin Hubbard.
Yasmin, thanks for being here.
She rushed with the golf. Yeah, golf game, golf match. Thanks for being here.
All right, up next will be our teaching and learning program report.
The Megans are gonna come up for this. Let's go to the ground. So it's all right. Sorry. Thank you like that. Okay, well, look at this. It's nice. We can both fit here. We are really excited to talk with you tonight. Obviously, we're always excited if we're in teaching and learning. And this is our annual report to kind of share with you some of the things that we're doing in the area of teaching and learning. We have been razzed quite a bit by about the number of slides. So we are going to go as quickly as possible. We actually have the timer up here, keeping track. Okay, so we're gonna begin by just talking about and highlighting teaching and learning in Valley Park. Teaching and learning is all about our teachers and our students. It's not about Megan and I at all. We have done so many amazing things this year with our teachers. We transitioned to Google very seamlessly. We were able to have learning walks this year with our admin teams, our PDC members participating in learning walks. Learning walks are all about giving feedback to our teachers about the great things that they're doing in their classroom and also sharing that feedback with the building. New science curriculum that we implemented this year, and we're continuing our work with PBL and our learning cohort. So these are just some pictures from those different things that we've been doing. I always like to remind everybody of what the teaching and learning department encompasses, which is a lot of different things, all fun things except for data that's not fun, but we do it. But those are kind of all the areas in which we work with teachers. Every year, we always talk about our strategic pillars. Teaching and learning really focuses on the first two, our students and our team, and all of our goals are related to those strategic plans. So we're going to highlight a couple of goals this year rather than every goal this year. See, we're already going quicker. One of our goals this year is really to develop our assessment portfolio and looking at what are the various assessments our students should be taking that are going to give our teachers real-time information and data on how kids are progressing, where their growth areas are, and how they can adjust their instruction, as well as how can we best prepare our students for post-graduation life and what assessments will really provide them with the details and the information they need to make the next best steps post-graduation. So that was our goal area. The first thing I'm going to talk about is a little bit about M6, which you may remember was new to the state of Missouri last year. And every year we have called APR Annual Performance Report, and that tells us how we're doing as a district. MSIP 6 kind of changed the game in terms of how we are evaluated by the state of Missouri. So the biggest change about MSIP 6 is that we are now given points for growth. So it used to always be just performance. You might have heard about like the math test. Are you proficient? Are you advanced? EOC, same thing. But it was just about your performance. There was no growth indicator. So students who grew a ton, if they stayed in the same level, you didn't get really any credit for that. So that's the biggest change. There are also some changes in continuous improvement where they're looking at a variety of success indicators, but I would say growth is the biggest change. In terms of proficiency and growth, I won't read this, but this is really a good graphic, just to kind of show the difference between where are we getting points in proficiency and what does that mean? And where are we getting points in growth and what does that mean? The growth model has, they're working on it. What I would say is we're really excited that growth counts because our kids are growing in Valley Park, and it's really important that they see that progress and they get that recognition. What I will also say is the state is still kind of working on how they calculation. So what you may be aware of is a lot of our kids take an EOC test one time. So they take government once. So how do you show growth? Assessment, you only take once, or they only take biology once. How do you show growth on biology when you only take it once? So they utilized a model that uses a lot of scientific and basically does a prediction based on how they perform in ELA and math. So that might sound weird, right? Like government tests, I'm going to take ELA and math and utilize a prediction to get growth. So there's a little bit of analysis going on how accurate it is. But what I will say is important is we have been asking for years for growth to be monitored, and now it is. And actually our students did very well in growth categories. I'll show you a little bit. But this just kind of shows you a little bit about how they did that calculation. So like I said, our students did very well. Our APR score, so we get a score every year, was 81.7%. That is in the top, we're in the top 30% of all districts in the state of Missouri. So we're performing very well for the state of Missouri. You can see you get points for performance and you get points for what's called continuous improvement. We had 75.9% in performance and we almost got 100% in continuous improvement. The little graphic below it just kind of shows you in each academic where we were, if they're on track or a target in all areas. And just to kind of tell you a little bit about what that means is the categories start at floor, approaching, on track, and target. So we're in the top third and fourth level in all areas. So that was really exciting to see that in our performance. This will show you a little bit of growth. The exciting thing about our growth is almost all areas we're either on track or we're actually exceeding the growth that was anticipated for our district. Some highlights, our English 2 EOC scores were outstanding last year. They've actually been outstanding for many years, but we continue to show exceeding growth in English 2. And obviously, even though that's one test taken their sophomore year, it's really all of the ELA courses taken in middle school, elementary. So that's really important. Score for us. We also did very well in government. Even though we're on track, we performed much higher than we had in the past. So that was really exciting to see that grow. And then we have a couple of areas that we're still kind of working on. One I will tell you is Algebra 1 because the state changed the rules on testing for Algebra 1 last year. So our students who are in Algebra 1, they're either in 8th grade taking Algebra 1 or they're in 9th grade taking Algebra 1 typically. In the past, our 8th graders would take the 8th grade math test. So even if they were in Algebra 1, they still take the 8th grade math test. They can no longer do that. They have to take the Algebra 1 EOC. So our 8th graders who take Algebra 1 are now also taking a high school, assessment. Moved our scores a little bit. So we will continue to work on that area, but that was 1 year. So that's why I want to see that. And then that's about it for MSIP. I just wanted to give you like a quick little overview, but we are doing a lot of work on growing students, and our teachers and our students should be congratulated daily for the work they're doing in those areas. Yeah, okay, all right.
One of the assessments that we added this year that I want to take a minute to highlight was the WorkKeys exam. So it's from the same company that creates the ACT test. And the WorkKeys assessment is a workplace skills And the scores on that correlate with job performance. So it is another assessment that we can use to help students see where they're at, see where their strengths are. And we took it this year, first time, really sight on. We told the seniors they were gonna take it. We did not necessarily explain the categories to them, tell them really anything. They knocked it out of the ball. So that big 91 down there, 91% of our seniors who took the exam, which was every senior to take it, earned the National Career Readiness Certificate. That's huge. I mean, huge. And so I have some percentages on the next slide, but over on the right, you can see the 3 testing areas are those content areas, applied math, graphic literacy, and workplace documents. Those were the, our average scores. And so those scores are kind of what correlate to the exams. The chart below, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, those are the student certificates. They have 4 different levels. And you can see that one of our kids certificates. And if you go to the next slide, that's amazing. If you platinum means that you had 6 on each of those exams, 7 is the best. 19% earned a platinum, and if the Missouri 4.3, that's adults, students in the state of Missouri that took the exam, and the exam is given seniors in high school all the way to, there's no limit. So I mean, that's like 4 times as many percentage wise. And then also I took the region students, you can kind of see all that we in that platinum area also. So we were thrilled with these results. Another piece for kids to put on their resume, put on their application. There's a lot more digging we can do about what the certificate means for them and how they can showcase it. And we're kind of working with the seniors now on that. But if they earn their certificate, they got their certificate, they printed it out and gave it to them. It's also a digital thing that they can take with them post graduation. So we're super excited about that. And then pillar 2, you can see again, our talented staff that we're working on. We want to just highlight the incredible work that they're doing. We have 5 different teams, K-12 writing this year. And then we have 4 different contents that are in a research year. And on the next slide, you guys have seen this multiple times. It's our curriculum revision process. So it's a 4-year cycle. And we've talked about that many times. So this year we want to focus on year 1, which was research and investigation. And so in this time, our teachers, we send them out to visit schools that have wonderful programming already in place where we can gather some information. We get to see the students and teachers interacting. The teachers get time to talk to the other teachers and pick up information. Some of our groups do book studies. We read a lot of different articles, and we really just focus on the current best practices, both in teaching and learning, and then also in that specific content area. One of the most exciting things that we have is that we have K-12 new science curriculum. So these are just some pictures of some elementary science. So the picture on the left, it's kind of hard to read, but it is one of our students in 4th grade. They did student-led conferences. So it's just a reflection on what they learned and what they want to learn more about. The picture in the middle, as you can see, the kids are doing the science, right? We don't have science labs necessarily in elementary. We have one, but so a lot of times they just do it in their classroom and the kids are actively engaged. And then the picture on the right might look like the students are just kind of writing in a notebook. I was actually in there that day. Those students and the discourse they were having about science, they were using, they're 2nd graders. The vocabulary they were using, the conversations that they were having with each other, they were recalling what they had done a few days ago. They were talking about what they thought would happen if. It was hands down the best day I've had this year, was watching them. So we're really proud of all the work K-12 that our science teams have done to really create an investigative hands-on course.
And next year we'll have 5 additional curriculums to share with you. So lots of pictures next year. Another one of our goal areas is always professional learning. That's one of the most important things we do in teaching and learning is support the learning of our teachers. So as you know, we've been focusing a lot on limitless learning, which is our project-based learning model. All of our teachers go through a 3-year process with that. But really what I wanted to kind of highlight is that we really have tried to focus on ensuring that all of our teachers get really quality professional development. We have a lot of singletons in Valley Park. So it's kind of easy to sometimes forget about the singletons or to not necessarily have the PD totally aligned to what they teach. So we have an amazing professional development committee, and each building has a committee. And we work really hard to make sure on every professional development day that all of our teachers have something of quality that they're doing and learning. So sometimes that means we have just one FACS teacher going to other districts and visiting and talking to other teachers about some of the curriculum that they're doing, because they don't have that opportunity to talk or collaborate with another FACS teacher. Or it might be that our entire PE department goes and visits some schools because they're also working on their health curriculum. So we're always looking at how do we ensure that everybody is getting to participate in high quality PD. That's something that's really important to our committee, and it's been a goal of ours ongoing. Our goals, you've seen these, you've actually approve these every fall, but just a reminder, we have goals and then we do them. So it's great. And see how quickly we're going. One thing we did want to highlight about PD this year is we have been participating in a regional conference. It's kind of like our own mini conference with 5 districts, all kind of small. So we all tend to get together. This year, only our secondary teams and our specialists participated because our elementary, they were doing a pilot for curriculum, so they had pilot training that day. But even with only our secondary teachers participating, we had 22 Valley Park teachers lead and present at the conference, which is huge. It's probably the highest percentage of all of the districts if you look at the total number of teachers that we sent. So not only are we valuing learning with regional teachers, but our teachers are really valuing sharing what they're doing in their classroom and sharing those practices with others. So that was a really cool thing that we had going on this year. The other thing that we've really been focusing on is how do we help our teachers get to the training that they need and want. So we're really fiscally responsible in teaching and learning, right? Right, Dr. Love? Super fiscally responsible. So we are very creative about how we find funding to send teachers to conferences or to send them to experiences. So this is actually not everybody. This is just a sampling of teachers who've either attended a statewide or a national conference or an ongoing learning opportunity like letters training, which is multiple times throughout the year. But we have sent a lot of teachers to a lot of different conferences. We actually have an internal process where they can request to attend. And we use mostly Title II funds. So you may remember we have 4 different areas of funding we get from the federal government. So it's not local funding at all. It is only title funding, and it's specific. Title II is only can be used for professional development. So we try to make sure that we're using that, especially for some of those that may cost more money. An individual building may not be able to provide that for a teacher, but our title funding can. So it's just some examples of teachers who've been able to go out and learn around the really country, not world. We haven't gone international. It's not that big of a fun, so we're not going international. This is our 3rd cohort for the Limitless Learning group, and they will begin this summer. This is actually our final cohort out of the 3-year process, so they'll be beginning their journey this year. But we've highlighted them every year, so we didn't want to forget about this group.
So one of the last things we want to talk to you about is how we're working to expand our course offerings. I think we're out of time. So we just won't look. And ensure that our kids are really ready for that post-secondary world. And so that first slide, most of you have seen, this is our information from our 2023 graduates. So we, 180 days after they graduate, we collect data on kids. And so we search high and low to figure out where they are. The state runs a report and gives us that. And then we work within our community to find out information on every student that has graduated. And what I think is really awesome by those numbers, if you add those up, that's 95.2% of our kids who graduated. We know where they are. So 6 months after graduation, they are doing those things. And I think it's important that it's a really high number and it's really amazing. And look at how many of them are in post-secondary training. And some of those workforce ones, to be honest, they're in an on-the-job internship, which I can't count according to DESE in that on-the-job training in like a trade school, even though it's really similar to that situation. They're working, they're gonna have a lifelong career in that. So we just really wanted to highlight that. The last thing that we wanted to highlight, these are the new courses for next year. It is a little less than what we've shown you in the last 2 years. The sixth grade class is really to help get kids a little more used to using their computer, and getting, being able to excel and enhance their learning experience with that. Every other class on there is in addition to a program or a pathway that we've already started. So those classes are on that list because students have said, I want more of this, which is amazing.
It's really kind of cool. So when we go to classrooms, the students know us as the Megans. I don't know if that's super professional, but that's what they call us. But for instance, we went into one of our PLTW classrooms this year, and they were just begging us to make sure that we have medical interventions next year. So the third in a four part pathway. So when the kids are not only in the classes and enjoying it and then begging us, please make sure we have this next year. That's where we want to be. We want to be able to adapt and support what the kids are saying that they want and need. And really, the kudos are to our teachers, because that does mean for them, they have to teach a new class, they're getting new training, like they are taking on the brunt of that work to ensure that our kids have those experiences. So it's really exciting to see that, and all of our courses that have like the 2s or the 3s, these are kids who took 1 year of it and now they want to take the next year of it. So it's really been really exciting to see. So our plan for next year is really to continue the work that we're doing. We're not done, but we feel like we've made excellent strides. We will continue to tweak this after our strategic plan work this summer to align it with the district goals. But nothing on that list is anything that you haven't seen in the last couple of years. And with that, we would like to say thank you. We tried to keep it at 15 minutes. How long was it?
Oh,
Oh, it's 18. That's not bad. Not bad.
That's close enough.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. We appreciate that.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, like.
I just want to say, I think it's really cool that we're able to add one to some of these new programs. Like I've heard a couple different people bring up, some of them are just they're loving them, and I think it's cool that we can offer that. Thank you. And expand that. It's really fun. And it's really cool to see how many of our students have gone on to something after they've left us. So it's really cool. All right, so the next thing up, I will make a motion to approve our agenda. May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Any public comment? No. Great.
Thank you.
Ask her directly.
Come on, have a golf. I'm very excited about that. All right, our consent items, approval of regular session minutes, photography, approval of the board reorganization date, and approval of the check register. I'll make a motion to approve for consent items. May I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, up next, the Chromebooks purchase, Mr. Josh Miller.
Good evening. I went ahead and put the memo on, the screen, just in case you didn't have that in front of you. We're looking to purchase Chromebooks for grades 3 through 8 next year. 380 devices, which accounts for projected student population of 330 plus a 15% pool of spares, which amounts to 50. I went out took 3 bids from Dell directly, Trafera, and CDW-G. CDW-G came in the lowest price per unit for both the device and the Google upgrade license. The license is important because otherwise it's just like if you went to Walmart and bought a Chromebook, it's yours, it's not the school's property. So we have to have that license so that we can push out the policies and keep our students safe and make sure they're able to get the apps and testing software they need when the time comes. So as a price comparison, last year, the district purchased 230 devices at $341 per unit. With this Chromebook purchase in comparison, we'd be saving basically $64 per device, but we'd also be getting 150 more units over last year. So we're paying a little bit more, but we're getting a lot more bang for our buck. The main impetus for this was that most of our K through 3 K3 and 4 are on Windows computers from 2017. They're a little long in the tooth. They're showing their age. Updates take a lot more time, and obviously the more time we have to update, it's less time the students are able to use those devices, which is no good for them. And also grades 7th and 8th. The 2020 devices from there, they have a lot of physical defects, like even kids are careful with them, the hinges are kind of flimsy. So our goal with these Chromebooks is to supply grades 3 through 8, then take the good devices from those classes and redistribute them and kind of, patch over what the kind of the gaps for this coming school year. So we would like to go out for purchase of those devices.
So, and maybe it doesn't pertain to this, but, when the 8th graders move up to high school, are they the ones that get the new laptops? I thought that's what we were told.
So that is our overall goal. This particular project would just be the 3rd through 8th graders in the fall would get those. So the incoming 9th graders will get the 2020, like I said, we'll redistribute the newer devices to those kids. They won't get brand new devices, but they'll get 2023 devices. And then as this cycle continues, we'll outfit more grades with newer devices.
I mean, I thought they were supposed to get new ones and then carry those for 4 years.
That is ultimately the plan, but with the budget and just how the grades fall and what we need to replace this year, it's kind of how the spread is.
Is there any possibility of some of those not going to the 3rd through 8th and going with the 9th so that we can start them on the path with the new?
Well, we don't want to have, so one of the things, these are Chromebooks, they're different than what we have now. So we
Okay.
also didn't want in one building, some kids to have one device and some kids to have another, because that's hard for the teachers to support the students. So that's why 3 through 8 will get these this year. 9th graders will get the newest of the same existing model. So they'll still be getting new computers. They'll be the newest of the existing model, so that all of high school has the same. And then we would predict next year, we're gonna come back to you for the next batch, which will be the next set of levels, and then we'll go from there. So that's kind of why it's this way.
So will the 9th graders next year, the newer computers, will they take those all through high school or will they eventually get brand new computers?
Depending on which route we go, because we've talked about two different scenarios of so like right now, we'll be applying them to 3rd through 8th grade. Next year would either be getting K through 2 outfitted with devices, and we're trying to decide if we want to do Chromebooks or iPads, since they're, they're more touch focused for the younger kids, or to go ahead and outfit the high school with Chromebooks. One of the other issues at the high school is that some of the programs, if they're, Dr. Libby wanting to do like stuff at FBLA with Microsoft Office, there's some sort of workarounds we have to do for Chromebooks in that regard, and whether that means we, get a program that can emulate Windows from from a Chromebook, or setting aside Windows devices for them specifically, and the things like AutoCAD or Fusion. Some of the programs that don't necessarily run on Chromebook. So that was another reason we didn't want to jump into the high school just yet with the Chromebook devices until we kind of had a plan in place for those students.
So do you foresee in the future, like at the high school, when they are all Chromebooks, that they won't have any option for Windows or anything like that, or?
They will, but it'll be specific to programming. So we do it right now, like graphic design has different computers, and when they go to graphic design class, they use those computers because the programming is so advanced. So it'll be the same thing for business.
It's also, some of those programs are really expensive and you don't need them for all 200+ kids in the school, but you need them obviously for those 10, 20 kids that are going through those programs at a time. So we have them for graphic design, we have some for industrial tech, and run some of those specialized programs.
We recently purchased the ones for graphic design.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, just a couple of years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even on the Windows devices that we had for those, they weren't whatever, supercharged enough to run the type of program.
So is it like set criteria to determine if it's gonna be K2, or if it's gonna be high school? Like how are we?
Well, we're really just looking at like what we currently have, what's working well. So that's really what it is. It'll just depend on which group seems to need it the most at that time. So we have a lot of newer computers actually at high school, to be honest, and they'll be getting the newer computers, so.
So for the high school, the business program where they use Microsoft, are they gonna have just computers for that class or?
Likely, but they have other, they do now. They do now, but likely, yes, that's what it'd be like, which is what most districts who are a Google district, that is what they do. So their business department, their graphic design department, things like that, they have specialized computers. for their work.
And there are some options I've been exploring, that if we went to full Chromebooks to high school, but still wanted to do those programs. It's basically a website where you say like, I want to be able to run, Adobe Photoshop or Word or whatever, and basically the kids go to that website, and to them, it looks like they're using Word, but they're actually streaming it from this company that handles that sort of information, so that's an option I'm exploring as well.
Anyone else have any other questions or comments? I will make a motion to approve this purchase. May I have a second?
Second.
I'm sorry. All-
Which one are we going with?
The CBW -G.
Yeah.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Anyone opposed? All right, I don't believe we have any other public comment, so I will make a motion to adjourn to executive session. May I have a second? We'll start with, Becky today.
Aye.
Rich.
Aye.
Aye. I would